McD, it's just you and me. It's episode
Small
1,
crew.
season 4.
Yeah,
What's up, buddy?
episode 1, season 4, small crew, just the two of us, and there's a reason for that, and that's because we've got a little segment between you and Bubsy from his time out in the States. How was it seeing him in the flesh for the first time in a while?
Very good, actually, mate. Yeah, he came out to a Full Swing event. We do have an interview coming up towards the end of this podcast that we'll put in here. We sat down and interviewed Justin Fieri, who looks after all the marketing and the direction here at Full Swing. Mate, it was Ripper. Basically, I guess we kick straight off of what happened here and why he was here.
Yeah,
He came out for a Full Swing put on a testing situation for, I guess, teachers. I was there as a fitter. There was, again, another big teaching account, an influencer from Good, you know, the fella that's got the paws at the top of the backstring. Never actually spoke to him, to be fair. Seemed a nice guy. But there was probably like 15 to 20 people out here doing a test of the Full Swing versus the GC Quad versus the Trackman. I think this isn't a spoiler alert on the content we've got coming with Justin, but from a golf perspective, and I've got a few things that I'm involved with yourself now that are really ticking off golf bucket list things to do. This is one of them, because it's one thing going out on a range and hitting, I'm going to throw a Trackman down, I'm going to throw a GC Quad down, I'm going to throw a Full Swing down. I've actually done that. It's good fun. You hit the balls, you see them in the air, you measure them. This was real deal. This was on a soccer field, which is football for anyone in Europe. Into the prevailing breeze, people out there measuring the targets. So you had a group of guys out that would stand where it landed. You could laser them. So you'd laser the lads that were out there. Then you'd instantly have a comparison of carry. But you had it with the head of engineering, like R&D, the head of marketing, the guy that runs the show, and another couple of marketing lads that if something wasn't where you wanted it, you could ask them. I had Bubsy hitting for me so that we were like comboing it on a video we put together. But there was a Corn Ferry kid hitting balls. So it's not like we're using absolute chops. And then you could do your own test as well. Very, very telling to have a launch. Obviously, radar outside is the way to go when it comes to giving you launch monitor data. And again, not to spoil all the content, but just amazing, really, to see the kit go up against Trackman, go up against Quad, give you some results. And then, obviously, you put these pissing videos out on YouTube, and just people, some of the shite people come back with is like, are you kidding me? I couldn't have done this. The whole purpose of this was to do the most chill, mellow, controlled test you could do. But no, whatever.
Well, people are like that, though, aren't they? They quick. Everyone has a biased opinion quite quickly before they actually start to dig into the depths. But I do have a follow-on question related to that, and this is more of a historical-based question, I guess. But do you think that your launch monitor testing began round about, I'm going to say about 2005 on the driving range at the Belfry? Shout out to the Belfry, home. That's where it all began for all of us. Where there's a certain young man, I actually know his name, Callum Tharby, out on the driving range. Was that day one of your product testing? Come on, give us a story. Give us a story.
I'm not giving you a story on this because there's no story. There's no story. I'm not giving you a story on this.
You measured him. He was 163 yards.
That's not true.
He was out picking range balls in the outfield.
Not true. Not true. Not true. Not true. Not true. And I feel guilty about that situation today.
That's why you're hiding the story.
We'll move on. It's not true.
Right,
anyway, back to the point in question. This was a great situation to test launch monitors in. You had all the launch, all the spin, everything going on, and it was a very successful trip, which was brilliant. So how about yourself? I know what me and Bubsy have been doing. What have you been doing? 10 toes up, have you?
Oh, 10 toes. Yeah, that's exactly what it's been. Yeah, mate, it's like 70-hour weeks at the minute, kid, trying to sort life out. But I tell you what, staying on the topic of Full Swing, the showroom over here is looking mint. It is very close to complete. We're kind of at the stage now of clean-up process, get rid of all the dust and all the stuff that's all over the place right now, and actually start making it look as it should look. So the Sims and everything arrives in the country pretty much this week. So we should be installing pretty soon. And I'd like to think that in the next couple of weeks or so, we will be fully operational. So exciting, very exciting.
I do think it's a good opportunity to say, we as a group, the three of us, are very close for Full Swing. We do, I mean, when I come and do these podcasts, I'm actually in one of their speakeasy rooms now, the larger one of the two, which is Mint. I mean, we've been in here and shot content before. We've had nights in here. We've been involved with this company now for a while. And I think that when you do go through the comments, people are like, oh, well, you're partnering up with Full Swing. We've been doing this between us for 60 years. If you add all the time up we've been in the industry we have a choice to go any direction we wanted to go when it comes to a key piece of equipment in launch monitors and simulators. And all three of us agreed that Full Swing was the way to go for varying reasons, I want to add, be it in the business, in the teaching side, in the fitting side. So it does frustrate me when people are like, oh, well, you just saying this because you're partnering up with them. Not the case. We had a choice when it came to partnerships. This is the route we went down. They're a cracking company. And I think it really highlights, again, in this content when it comes to the testing, but also when it comes to what you're doing with them over in Europe, Middle East, Africa, getting products out. So if people do want to know more about Full Swing, then dive in the Dope Stroke stuff and ask us away, because we've got the answers right now.
Yeah, I agree, actually, because I do think, criticism is part and parcel of everything in life. And to be honest with you, if you're not getting criticism, you're probably not pushing hard enough anyway. So, I kind of welcome it to on the most part. But I do think that when you look at somebody like Bubs and his coaching background, you and your fitting background, I know I delved into that space for a time period as well. Like, there's a lot of knowledge here about launch monitors specifically, whether they're photo-based, whether they're radar-based, whatever it might be. There's a lot of knowledge. So it's very easy for somebody to criticize, but wouldn't it be better to ask a question? Try and understand something before really, putting out your view. I've always thought that, without sounding a little bit cliche, but knowledge is the kind of starting point of everything. So at least if you know something, you're much more qualified to give an opinion. And I would rather people ask questions to understand and then criticize the answer rather than criticize without asking the question. Kind of obvious, right?
100%. I mean, I think when you go into these things and you're very strategic about it, and certainly advice you've given me, and I think anyone out there who's looking to get partnerships or brands, be them athletes in our game or other games, you just have to be very careful about who you partner up with, and their goals have to align with what you're trying to do. And I think that we've been very strategic about that in everything we do. We continue to be. I know some people that aren't. And I think ultimately cream rises to the top. And with everything we've all got going on as a group, you will see that moving forward. And talking about cream rising to the top, I think we have to touch on a little bit of a tricky subject to start off our rundown of sports as we return back. I think it's important that we highlight being big football fans ourselves, or at least mediocre football fans. Because it was interesting one, wasn't it? Community Shield. So explain what the Community Shield is, the charity shield, who plays it, and then the situation.
Okay, so basically, domestically in the UK, you play the league, or the Premier League, and then also there's the FA Cup. And the Community Shield is from the previous season. It's the winner of the league against the winner of the FA Cup. So it's a very old tournament. Obviously, it goes back a long way. There's a lot of history attached to it. But the reality is it's not actually a major trophy. But in order to play in the final, you have to win a major trophy, which is either the FA Cup or the Premier League. So my son, he says to me on Saturday, he says, "Oh, Daddy, my son's only a small boy. He's 6 getting into football. He's starting to learn it all. He's got the football cards now, and he keeps telling me all the players that Mo Salah is better than and all that. So he's really into it. And he says, "Hey, so Daddy, who's gonna win the football tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, mate, it's not even a contest. It's Liverpool." So pretty quickly, I had egg on my face, and we lost in a penalty shootout. But with that said, I'm still very optimistic about where the team are at right now. I think we're going to have a pretty good season, but there are still some gaps. And, you know what it's like, mate. Imagine getting a whole new team and you've got to get them to gel together really quickly. That's not easy to do. So, but I still think we're going to have a good season. Fingers crossed, mate.
No, 100%. And obviously the tragedy of Jota. I mean, terrible. Coming back, starting to return to that. I agree. It can't be
Did you
easy.
see though on that though when they were cheering in the 20th minute, the fans were sort of recognizing Jota in the 20th minute, and while they were still applauding Jota, the goal went in. I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, you couldn't have written that really. So it's quite nice to see that the players and the fans are really behind what happened in that incident, sadly, of Jota losing his life in a car accident a few weeks ago. But I think it's great that happened. And yeah, hopefully we go on to win our 21st league title this year and knock Manchester United off their perch, so to speak.
I think the romance of it all, I think it went in on 20 minutes, 20 seconds. And so, it is a lovely story. It was a bit of a lucky goal. But yeah, it's I think everything you say is spot on. I think it'd be interesting. I think with that, I was sitting there and the Fantasy Premier League starts, and I decided to start my own little fantasy league as well this year. So if people do want to join that, we'll go and Trotty Golf Fantasy League. The biggest challenge now is, do I start a broadcast channel on social media that is only football, or do I leave it in with my other stuff? I'll probably end up leaving it in with my other stuff, but got a friend staying with me from the UK who helped me come up with the name of my team as well. So apparently Maradona had a team, and this will be common knowledge to a lot of people, had a team of juniors or youth players that he used to look after in Argentina called Little Onions. Did you know about that?
I did not know that, no.
So I've gone for the Spanish name for the team. I'll just pull it up now as a translation for you, but I think it's Los Cabalitos is the Spanish name for little onions. Yeah, Cebalitos. So my team is Los Cebalitos. So when you see them charging past you in the fantasy prem, that's why. And I mean, we've got some good entries here now. I mean, we've got to be up to, I don't know, looking like 40 or 50 people have entered this thing now. Some mates of mine who play as well. You're in there, McD. So that's going to be good.
I was going to go with Dazzler Athletic, and I thought, well, I'm far from athletic, so I had to go for Dazzler Sofa Fit instead.
So yeah, but bringing it back into stuff that's more our world. I've got a trip coming up here to Bandon Dunes in a couple of weeks. Bandon Dunes held the ladies US Am. I saw that Stanford University Mega Garn won. I mean, pretty freaking impressive. I actually met Mega at the NCAAs. Stanford, mate, is something else when it comes to a college. I mean, just how good these girls are, and the men as well, on camera, in the media, now on the golf course. That's a hell of a place to go. I mean, Bandon, to win one of those is a great one to have on your resume.
Do you think
you actually turned down the Bandon trip, didn't you? You just can't be asked.
I did, mate. I'm spinning plates here, lad. Keeping the wheels of industry flowing. So, but I'll take up my invite for next year, no problem. Count me. Put me down for a 4 or a 5 usually.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, my question to you is though, related to Stanford. Why do you think it is that they are so complete? Let's call it. Is it part of, prior to them even going to Stanford, they're already good. So they've already had media attention. They've already had infrastructure around them before they go? Or is it something at Stanford that helps them develop at a different pace?
I just think the expectation level when you go there and the people that you're around, I think the athletes, fortunately, have some athletes have a bit more charisma in them than some, shall we say, academics. So that helps. But the academic level at which you're held to, and I think it's like everything, if you go and train in the academy at the top football, soccer academies in the world, it will raise your game. If you go play week in, week out on the global leading tours, whatever they may be right now today, it will raise your game. And I just think those around you are so excellent because you're getting the cream of the crop from Europe who want to go there, the best people from Asia who want to go there, the best people in America who want to go there. And I just think it raises everything. And I think there is an expectation level required of someone from Stanford. I mean, when someone from Stanford talks, you generally listen. They hold themselves together well. They carry themselves well. They don't mess around when the cameras aren't on. It's all business. and there is a level that is expected, to be honest. So I just think it's just pedigree, and it's what's expected.
Interesting. So moving into pedigree and and setting that standard, it would we have to talk about PJ Tour this last weekend. I think it's great to see Rosie come out on top. Yeah, I mean, how good is it to get him back into the world's top 10 at his age? He's now straight into the Ryder Cup standings without a wild card pick, which he had to do last time. Where do you think Justin's game is right now? And what do you think the rest of the season looks like for him? Because obviously Ryder Cup is right around the corner. There's not really much left for him to play before he gets out on at Bethpage and takes some criticism from the New Yorkers, right?
Well, I think there's a lot to break down for Rosie. But I think, out of respect for where we're at before we get there, I want to pivot and just say, should we not hit on Burmy winning on Live first? Because, and the reason I'm throwing that one first, it's very difficult to break down a Live event. I'm being honest with you. Hard to watch the freaking thing still. What we doing? So, there's a ton to talk about with Justin, and we can get into that now. Or we can simply say, Bemester beaten Rahm. I mean, Ballester, another kid who was in the NCAAs the other day, beating him. It was pretty mega, to be honest. But all you can do on this damn thing is watch it on a goddamn Instagram feed for 30 seconds.
Yeah, that is pony. But you can still see how much it meant to him when he holds that winning putt and the fist pump on that green. He was right revved up for that. And I think it's great, and obviously it's super great that he was on our show not that long ago either. It was great to get some super insight into how he approaches his game and his views on where Live Golf are at. And there's no question that there's a good standard of golf on Live. How deep that goes is the question, but there's definitely a standard of golf out there that is excellent. And when you look at the likes of John Rahm and you look at the likes of Neiman and now Burmester coming through as well, Live is not looking too bad when it comes to winners. Can they translate that into some of the majors? Maybe. And I would like to see Burmy contend more in the majors. And as I think you might have said it actually, Trottie. Did you say about Mickelson's comments about Dean Burmester?
No,
related
not sure.
to he felt that Dean was very underrated as a player and one of the best talents currently playing in the game. That's what he had said. And we've both been pretty fortunate to be up close and personal with Dean and seeing his game right in person, in the flesh. And he is impressive to watch. The ball speed, the strike, it is good. And I want to see him contend. He's a nice guy. He deserves it.
Does that go across all South Africans?
We all stick together.
Your game's understated, isn't it, McD? Really?
Mine's very understated. Yeah, mine's very understated. But I believe I'm the best putter in the world, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talking about me hitting Callum Tharby. Do you want to get into that story?
No, we're good. Fishing trip, yeah.
So let's get on Rosie. So 6 birdies in the last 8 holes played. Remember, there were, I think, 3 of them were playoff holes. We're going to talk about that in a second. You want to talk about Scotty Scheffler, 12 consecutive top 10s for Scotty Scheffler to be running top of the FedEx going in. I want to talk about McIlroy not playing that FedEx event. Where is your view on that? It's the goddamn playoffs. I mean, that's where you need to start this whole thing. And then 14 top 3s now for Tommy Fleetwood on tour. And he posted today, I feel like we all need to get this done together. And I don't know if I love the stance he's taking on that. I think it's fantastic in the public. I really do. But it has to be eating him to pieces. But directly coming back to the questions that you put down, and I've got these notes in here so we can hit on them. I mean, Justin Rose, 45, he obviously deflected that pretty quickly when he was asked about that by Damon Hack in the interview. Obviously, I'm watching the US broadcast. I don't know what you're watching. He deflected that pretty quickly, which is good because the guy works out like a mofo. He works on his game ridiculously hard. He works with Phil Kenyon. Shout out Phil, been on the show on his putting. The putts he made left to right off the slopes, 1 to birdie 18 in conventional play, then in the playoff to put the heat on JJ to make that putt. I mean, these sliders for a right to left player not easy. Rosie's got all the data on all of them. The tee shots he hit, knowing he was going with driver. I mean, one of them, he just carries the water by like 4 feet. Then I heard him and Fooch, he's back with his old caddy Fooch. They've been together now for a while. He alluded to the fact that, we'll celebrate, but out of respect for the Ryder Cup coming, because he knew that got him in, we won't celebrate in public. I mean, it's an amazing player for us to have on the Ryder Cup team. I think with him, Rahm, and I'm assuming Rahm gets a pick, and McIlroy, we've got 3 absolute weapons. Shane hopefully can get it together. I'm panicking a little for Tommy, but he's just deflecting it by being the world's nicest human.
Yeah, but you can't say that he's not playing well. He's still putting in great results. He's just not getting it over the line as a win on the PGA Tour.
But you're going to have a New York crowd.
I get that.
You'd have a New York crowd on your back, mate.
Yeah, but you could argue that he's Scouser, mate. I mean, think about how thick-skinned you got to be there. So I just think, for me, he's still playing really well. He's just not winning the tournament. And I know he bogeyed the last hole to not get into the playoff, and I get all that. But I still think if you looked on paper at his results, you're still going to go, yeah, this guy's playing solid golf. So he's got to be in the Ryder Cup. It's a no-brainer.
He was in between clubs on the second shot into 17, won a head lead, took the short one, pulled it, didn't get what tour qualities are relatively easy up and down, didn't even hit the hole on the putt to get in like par, and then he parred the last in the end. He made a good putt on 18. And I love Tommy Fleetwood, absolutely love him, but I just don't want him to get ridiculed in New York, and I think he will. I think it's going to be tough. We need Tyrrell Hatton as well, by the way. If I'm putting together this team, I need Tyrrell in it as well. I'm going to get up these Ryder Cup standings now, actually. Let's have a little... Actually, Lloyd's probably sat here. If you carry on talking, we'll see if Lloyd's got them. Ryder Cup standings, Europe. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll do that in. But I do think... for me, I still think that Fleetwood is playing good enough golf to warrant his place in the Ryder Cup. No question about that.
100% he is, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I actually think if he gets ridiculed in New York, so be it. I mean, as we said in the beginning of this podcast, it's the byproduct of being successful anyway. So you just got to suck that up. We've all had criticism, and these guys get it more than most because they're in the public eye. It just is what it is. Deal with it.
Yeah, and I think he's the nicest bloke in the world. I think the way in which he's dealing with it and the way in which he's putting it out is actually fantastic, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, you can't
even if he
complain.
gets abuse on course, he's got Finno, who is like 7'12", who will knock anybody clean out if it gets out of hand. So I feel pretty good that Fleetwood's in a good spot there. He kind of Fleetwood's caddy reminds me more of Lionel Messi's bodyguard, where he comes and runs on the pitch and tackles the fans that come up for autographs with Messi. It's a bit like that. So I think Finno will make sure that Fleetwood is well protected.
And then I'm going to ask you the question because I think it's a fair question to ask, and I don't know how long it's going to be until other people are asking these questions. Do you think some of this not winning is going to be pointed at Finno?
That's a good question. And I also think it is very easy to be able to do and say that. You also can't discount the fact that they have won a number of tournaments together. And let's also not forget that Harry Diamond had a lot of criticism related to him caddying for Rory for all these years as well. Now that that's culminated in a green jacket, it gets quickly forgotten. So I would say maybe he's in for some criticism, but I would also think it's unfair.
Then if we flip to JJ Spawn, the ice-cold competitor he is, he nearly made about a 60-footer in 18th in regulation, probably a 50-footer to win the thing, hit the lip, lipped out again in the playoff, Do you think there's anything in these zero-torque putters from distance that give you more chance of making putts?
Well, it's definitely appearing that way, isn't it? I mean, think about his, putting over the course of this year. There's got to be something in it. If you're making a stroke that's that long, to have the consistency of strike in the middle of that club face repeatedly, it's difficult. I think even for the best players in the world, it's not easy. So to have something that would be zero torque, there must be something in it on the long distance putts. I'm not so sure if it's more or less effective inside a certain range. So let's call it somewhere between 10 and 15 feet. But there definitely appears to be something in it when you get to the super long putts. Yeah, that would be. I'm assuming. I'm making guesses. I'm not saying anything based on fact. But from what I can see visually, it looks like there's something to it.
You don't hit it that close, so you'll be perfect on one of them. Right, Ryder Cup rankings right now. We got Rory, Rosie, Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Tyrrell Hatton, Sepp Straka. So that gives you 6, which is auto, right? And then you got 6 that he's got to pick from. Shano, Rasmus, Højgaard, Ludwig, Aber, Victor Hovland, Matty Wallace, and Fitz are the other 6 that will be in the mixer.
Yeah, I think Oberg's definitely going to be in there, I'd say. Did you say John Rahm was outside as well?
Outside.
No, he's out, or he'll be picked.
I haven't said Johnny Rahm. John Rahm's getting picked.
Yeah, he'll get picked.
John Rahm's getting picked. Lowry's getting picked. Rahm's getting picked. Hovland's getting picked. Fitzpatrick's getting picked. Ludwig's getting picked. So
there's only one option available, right? So do that again. So
Rahm's
go with your finger.
Lloyd's just said Rahm's 22nd there. I tell you what, mate. Let's be honest. Sepp Straka's done well to get in the top 6. And by the way, we're going to be doing this a lot over the coming weeks, so just get used to the toe stroke hitting on the European team. All right, so we've got Rory, Rosie, Fleetwood, Bobby Mack. Bobby Mack's done well. He played well in majors.
Done well.
Hatton's done well, played well in majors, and Sepp. Look at how important majors are now. Let's just cover that. I mean, look, Rosie's electric. I feel like we haven't actually given Rosie some love there. Rosie's electric. Let's get that done. Stoked he's in. Congrats on the win. Good winner as well, by the way, for the St. Jude thing, Darryl. I don't know what the coverage is like, but St. Jude and what they do for the kids, phenomenal. He's a good winner for that, because from a business point of view, he'll just be... I saw his speech afterwards. He nailed it about the kids and everything. He will be a great representation for that moving forward. Okay, so Rory Rose, Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Tyrrell, Sepp. So there's your 6.
Yeah.
Shane,
he's got
John Rahm, Hovland, Fitzpatrick, Ludwig Aberg. There's 5. So that's 11. Only leaves you with room for one more. And you've got Rasmus Højgaard and Matt Wallace in the top 12.
And he might not pick after them.
And remember, Wallace got looked over last time. And there's Sergio.
I strongly doubt they'd pick Sergio.
Why?
And I'm going more down the political route here more than anything, but I just don't think that they'll pick Sergio. I'm with you though, by the way, and to be honest, my heart is like they should pick Sergio, but they're not going to pick Sergio. I'll put a side bet on.
You could pick this Ballester.
Is he a member of the European Tour though? Because that's the requirement.
Probably not.
So you have to be a member of the European Tour and you have to be European. That's it. That's the 2 requirements to play for the
He's European.
Okay, so he's got one of the 2 there. Well done, Trottie. Okay, now.
So Rasmus could be... He'll be close. That's going to be a tough last pick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. Well, let's see what happens, mate. There's still a little bit to go. Not much, but there's still a little bit to go. There might be some changes still to come. Lloyd's
just mentioned the fella that's getting in. He's just put him in as the last one. He's 14th now on the list. And he's absolutely getting in. 100%. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Why are you going to say him, though? Why are you going to say him?
I'm going to say him because he's the best. He's unflappable. Hits it uber straight. Bethpage Black is so freaking difficult. And you could pair him in foursomes with... He could play with me and we'd have a chance of winning.
Could you imagine you in the Ryder Cup? Jesus. Yeah, go on. Say it is.
Aaron Rye.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. He has had a few seasons, isn't he? Yeah.
Has to pick him. Honestly,
and everywhere he's gone, he's always improved, isn't he? So whatever level he's been at, he's improved and he's got to the next level. He's always gone higher. So you've got to think if he gets into the Ryder Cup, he'll elevate his game.
Yeah, but mate, like he could hit it literally down a flipping cobble street that's a foot wide. He's bouncing all over the show. He's that in control of his golf ball.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a good shout, that. Right, then, on to the Yanks. Here's the Yanks for you. Scotty, JJ Spawn, Xander, Russell Henley in at fourth, Bryson, Harris English. So they're the 6 autos.
And then...
I'm going to say that's not very good.
No. I mean, Scotty, you're going, JJ Spawn's clearly had a great year. Xander's
that's
up
fine.
there.
Fine.
I would say
Russell
Bryson.
Henley and Harris. Russell Henley's going to get in, though, anyway. Harris English, I don't know.
Yeah. But, let's look at some of the ones that would be wild. There could still be some changes here, let's not forget, right? So some from a pick perspective, the guys that are just outside that, you got Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, McNeely, and Novak. And then in 13th and 14th place, you got Harman and Young, respectively. So
Keegan Bradley's a legend.
I think he's a legend. But this is a good question now. Would you be the captain and play in the team?
Keegan should.
Do you think...
Would I? No, I'd be running a mile, but Keegan should.
But do you think, let's say, for example, he finishes 7th on this list. He's like the first reserve, let's call it. He's a first pick. But you're the captain. Should he pick himself? Or should he get into that top 6 outright and deserve it, win his place onto the team?
Obviously, to avoid the criticism, you want to be getting in the top 6.
But why should it be criticised if he's a wild card pick? He's clearly the 7th best according to the rankings. So that wouldn't be controversial to me. The controversy would be: can you be the captain?
I love it. Why are you asking me?
I love him too. I personally, I think he should play. Like if you're the captain and you happen to have played good enough to be on the team, you're good enough to be on the team. It's not going to be the first time you're playing captain. It would just be more unusual in today's world, right?
First in a long time.
Yeah. But my point is, with all the statisticians and the data and everything else that goes on behind the scenes, I don't see why it's impossible for you to play your own game on the golf course and let all your other teammates play their own game. But you would have just made the decisions as to who plays where. It's not that hard.
But I also think, looking at that, though, you do have to think, looking at that, there's quite a few rookies kicking around. I mean, Novak, McNeely, Griffin, they're rookies.
Yeah. That's
Henley,
true.
isn't Henley a rookie?
I think Henley might be. Harris English?
So, I don't think Harris is a rookie. Wait, Lloyd, Harris English is he a rookie in this? Anyway, the point is, he'll have played President's Cup for sure. The point is, you're all of a sudden looking down that. Bradley's been there, done it. Morikawa's been there, done it. Thomas been there, done it. You got to pick them. Yeah. Harman's been there, done it. He's only one out. You got to consider picking him.
But I tell you what, when you look at it like this, though, and you start making that comparison to the European team, normally it's always, oh my God, it's going to be a whitewash. The Americans are going to stuff the Europeans. But I tell you, it looks a lot more balanced to me. Doesn't look like it's going to be a whitewash one way or the other, New
York is a big deal, but True. It does.
But but if you're looking at a player versus player rather than where the location is, right? It's obviously going to be hard to win in America from the Europeans' perspective, in the same way that it's hard for the Americans to beat the Europeans in the European destinations. It's just part and parcel.
But I do think it's very I think it's the hardest place for a US rookie to play.
A US rookie or a European rookie?
US rookie. I think a European rookie is hard to play wherever you go. I think this is the hardest place for a US rookie to play.
And why would you say that? Surely this would be a good thing if you're American.
New York will bring out a lot of casual fans. Are you telling me they're going to all recognize immediately who Novak is? No. Because they want to see Brooks Koepka, who's not there. Phil Mickelson, who's not there. Tiger Woods, who's not there. They want to see Jordan Spieth, not there. Dustin Johnson, not there. They're going to want to see mainstream names, and they're not going to see it. So and that's greatest of respect for these names, but these are new blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but new blood's not a bad thing, right? Everyone always looking for the next champion. Could that be one of this crop that's coming through, right? And the Americans celebrate people like that, which is a good thing. It's a good quality. And I know the New Yorkers are more vocal than most of the country, and then they, but I'd like to think, if you're an American, that they'll back your team harder because of that.
If I'm a rookie on the American side, I'd rather not be starting in New York. I think there's an added pressure. That's the way to put it.
Okay. It's a bit like signing for Manchester United, right? Added pressure. So it's 100%. Great when you watch them get in the relegation battle.
Well, it was like signing for Manchester United when they were good. Not very good now.
It's great, isn't it? Good time. Let the good times roll. Anyway,
that's my take. I just think there's a lot of pressure playing in New York.
Yeah. Well, I think this is probably a good opportunity to keep talking about pressure and get you and Bubs together for the episode that you guys filmed out in the States, right? Do you want to tell us more about that?
Absolutely.
And hand it over?
We did an impromptu sit down here one night. They had an event on in the space at Full Swing headquarters. Little impromptu interview with Justin Fiera, which is his brother. Right. Jason works here as well. Get it right, Trottie. And sat down and talked a bit about the vision as to why Full Swing had done this comparison, what they were looking to achieve from it. And there's a little bit, I think, in there, or maybe there isn't. Can't remember. You'll have to watch the video, listen to the audio as to some future products they're bringing out, which I know you know a lot about. I'll have to be careful because I'm probably close to stepping on problems here. But there's some good stuff coming, and we touch on that a little, I think, and just how they're going to take this forward. I told you at the top, fantastic company with good vision in an area that is obviously tech-driven. So, yeah, dive into it. Have a listen.
So without further ado, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bonus episode. I'll let Mr. Chris Ryan take it from here.
Can I get my excuses in?
Mate, do what you need to do.
So I flew to San Diego yesterday, 11-hour flight. Decided we'd play at 7 a.m.
I thought it'd be good for you in the jet lag.
I was awake at 3:30. So I was all over the place. We turned up a golf course that he knows, I don't, and then we played a little 3-hole match, and we played, and the loser was going to do the intro for the podcast, and, well, I don't want to give too much away, but I didn't win.
I feel like in the manner that the game ended that I didn't really want to big up the intro because it was, let's just say, you'll have to watch the video, but it is a rough ending. And it's not a good... But I don't have the excuse that I didn't travel across the world. Now, tell everyone where we are tonight, mate, because this is impromptu, and it's the reason that you are here on US soil. So we'll say cheers to that, mate. Tell us the reason that you're here.
So, I didn't actually travel 11 hours to play golf with Trottie, to play 3 holes with Trottie. That would have been a long journey. We are here for an event that Full Swing have put on. It's today. We're at the Full Swing HQ, which I've never been to. It's amazing. And there's an event tomorrow. Don't want to say too much about that, but it's going to be a good event. And then we're playing golf on Thursday as well. So we are currently sat in Bay number 1, is this called?
Bay number 1 for this podcast.
At Full Swing headquarters. And I'm going to put something on my Instagram. So by the time this goes out, that'll be on my Instagram. This place is... Well, Trottie's knows because he's been here. This place is like nothing I've ever seen. It's their offices. It's where the magic happens. But I mean, it just looks like a golfer's playground. You walk in and there's got a putting green. There's the largest TV I've ever seen in my life on the wall. You've got these 2 simulators. We're sat in one. You've got a pool table over there. You've got cornhole. Is that what it's called in the US?
Cornhole, mate. Some people are just ridiculous at that game as well.
You've got like a Formula 1 simulator over there. And then I was blown away by this place. And then you go through a little door over there and it gets even better. So I don't want to give too much away because I'll put a video out, but amazing.
Yeah. Look, I've been in Carlsbad now. I'm fortunate to be here for about 12 years. This place, I always tell guests that I get to bring in and entertain that this is the best place in Carlsbad. I genuinely think that. And if you think about all the outdoor weather and the cracking sport, but it's not just about the vibe. It's the people as well. Everyone in here wears black, which I'm a big fan of black. So that's step...
You're wearing black now.
Yeah, that's step number 1. Everyone in here is pretty cool. It's mellow. There's booze everywhere if you want it, which is cool. And it's just golfers talking about golf equipment and taking it forward. I mean, look, we even picked the background for us here is Pebble number 7. Mate, have you played this hole?
I've not played that hole, but I'm really conscious that this looks as if this is the first time either of us have sat in a swivel chair, because we're both just.
It's cool, isn't it?
We're both just doing this. You're like this, none of this. I'm not sure which is better, the Full Swing HQ or this chair. No, I've not played Pebble. I know you have. How did you play this one?
Do you know how I played this one? Or are you just teeing me up?
I don't know how you played this one.
Dude. So I played
You've either got it close or you've knocked it in the water.
Close wasn't a word. So it was playing, it's 96 yards on there. It was playing 96 yards. I hit a 56 sand iron mill grind 3, and it was the chrome finish, not the raw finish, which everyone out there knows raw is tour. Mate, I flipping popped this thing up in the air, playing with Piers and Proudy, and from me and my golf, and Blackie, Matt Blackie, our mate, went to an inch.
Did it?
I was devastated.
Did it look like it was in?
It pitched just beyond it, and because it says 26 feet elevation, I've got to be honest, it felt more down than that when I hit it. And it didn't spin because it was coming down from such an apex, and I was happy but devastated.
So just for the golf nerds out there, 96, 26 down, what's that playing?
I hit a baby, so it's 26 feet that. I hit a baby 56, which is a 90-yard shot. So no real breeze. It was very similar to these conditions. The water wasn't going as quick as that, but what a golf hole, what an experience. And the thing is with Full Swing, you can play that over and over. You know that, right? You can literally hit balls on there.
It's practice, and I've done that. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did that at the 17th of Sawgrass.
Yeah.
So I think we'll reference this chair that's in the middle of us, because that's not there for a reason. That is there for a reason, I should say. We have got, everyone's disappeared. So we're at Full Swing HQ. We weren't planning on doing a podcast, but we thought, do you know what? This behind us is the future of golf. So we are going to get some people that are here to come in, sit in that chair, and we're going to fire a few questions at them. Trotty has moved out of shot because he's trying to get someone. Who have you collared?
We're going to get Justin to come in. So interesting story. He's going to say, I bet you he says in the first 30 seconds of him being here, well, you know, I'm fairly new to Full Swing. He loves dropping that line.
As he said, how long's he been here?
Yeah, he said it once tonight already, and I've only had 4 slices of pizza and 2 beers, so he ain't been here that long. But he will say that, but he's got an interesting story that I want to save him to tell. He's obviously getting the chair that doesn't swivel, so our knees might hit him every now and again. You know, that uncomfortable knee tap with a male, and you're like, what are we doing here?
I also want to pull someone in and talk about TGL, because that is big, and it's going to get bigger, I think.
Well, it's the future, isn't it? Data's the future, Full Swing sims are the future. Anytime you get a chance to go on a launch monitor, that's the future. And yeah, TGL, and having been connected with this brand when they were getting ready for TGL, mate, it was bedlam around here. It was stressful. But to land it, I mean, how great's that?
The OG listeners will know we had Evan on. That was... It had started, didn't it? They had about 3 or 4 shows and we had Evan on. So we're going to get Justin on. Here he is.
The man himself, he's coming straight in.
Oh, you need your drink, Justin? He's on a... I think we'll kick this off by talking about his diet. You want a diet?
Yeah, dude. Limited calories.
We're down to 2 mics, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of
a little mic share between
juggling.
you and I. And if our knees touch you, because we've got swivel chairs, don't feel too uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm used to it. When we go to dinner, sometimes you start playing footsies with me, and it gets a little weird.
Now, what I like about you is you're not the stereotypical golf industry guy. You've come in to set a bit of spark about this. So tell us a bit about the fresh haircut underneath that hat. We're not letting you get away with that. And B, where it originates from.
Where do you want to start with the haircut?
100%.
Okay.
We've got to see it first.
Yeah, so...
The back of it's legit.
Yeah. Is that the camera we're rolling with?
It is, yeah.
There we go. You guys get that?
Yeah.
The old mohawk, I love it.
That's all the rage in the UK.
Yeah, so I've run this haircut for a long time, to be honest. And you know what's funny is I did it myself, like just looking in the mirror. So yeah, I feel like I did a pretty good job, but no, I don't know. I'm one of those, I don't know, maybe I'm a little unique and just kind of do whatever I want to do. So yeah, I think this haircut's cool. And I've honestly been running it for years. So
it's in the UK now. So did you set this trend? Did you start this trend?
Maybe I did. I don't know. Yeah.
So, little known facts, because I know a bit more about this man than you do. I was up in Bend, Oregon at the weekend with a mate of mine's son, good downhill mountain biker, and we pulled up your Instagram to show him what was going on.
Yeah.
Now, he's decent, but you have a history in that sport too, right?
Yeah. So like you said, my past has been a little bit not so much. I was in the golf world a long time ago. Worked for Graphite Design, and then
Scratch handicap who says he's a 5 or something. Just be aware of that.
One of those.
I'm a hustler, baby.
Yeah, I need a few. I haven't played too much. I mean, but the game's coming back around. But yeah, no, I definitely had a little different journey to where I'm at today. So I was in the golf world, and then worked out over at GoPro cameras for 17 years. And throughout that journey, I ended up becoming a professional mountain biker, downhill mountain biker. So yeah, it was super cool. Maybe that's where the haircut came from. You kind of have to have that like badass, like confident mentality. And so I was like, hey man, I'm kind of the older dude rolling up in here, and so gotta.
If you've still got an in at GoPro, I don't know if you can have a word, because earlier on the course, Trottie was trying to speak to the GoPro and he wasn't understanding his English accent. He was having to say, stop recording in his best American accent. So you can have a little in and get it to
we'll pass that along. I still talk to the crew over there all the time. So we'll pass it along for sure.
So, mate, 17 years with that company that was a juggernaut. Like, we'll try and educate on this as well, given our backgrounds. What did you learn from the 17-year journey that's taken you forward?
Yeah, I think... there's so many things, like I was just talking about, where GoPro really took off, right? And I think there's similarities between my journey with GoPro and then where we're at with Full Swing today. And, what's funny is, I'm kind of aging myself here, but like my time at GoPro is like, when GoPro really got its momentum going was when social media started to take off. And this was before the influencers and all that, but it was just literally people just sharing their life's experiences. And so, I think that there's an element of luck to any successful business. And so I think that's where GoPro really had that kind of strike of luck, or however you want to say it. But we kind of rode that wave of the growth of social media. And I think the similarities there to where we are today is I see where the game of golf is going, and I think Full Swing, these places where they have simulators in their restaurant, kind of sports bars, and we see these things popping up everywhere, right? And so I think there's kind of that right place at the right time, and that's where I see a lot of opportunity with Full Swing on the simulator business, and then what we're doing from the launch monitor side, it's incredible, right? Like what we're doing to help enhance their performance and help people with their game. So, like I said, there's a lot of similarities, and I think that's what I learned most with GoPro is like making sure when you see that opportunity for momentum to like jump on it.
Yeah. We didn't touch too much because we wanted to allow you to talk about it. We're here at Full Swing. Bubsy's come over from the UK. There's an event going on.
Yeah.
We're going to allow you to explain what's happening the next couple of days. And I'm going to say here, I feel this came about a little bit from, I'm going to be honest, like a My Golf Spy piece that went out.
Yeah.
And I personally didn't think it was very fair because I've been using the Full Swing kit, the launch monitor, which you touch on for a while now. I love it. You know my take on it, and I think the listeners know I trust it.
Yeah.
But I want to hear, like, what event you got going on. I mean, behind us now, there's some pizzas. We've had people in from the industry. Talk about the next couple of days and what you're hoping to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we put this together, and I think, one of the big things is for us is, what we're trying to achieve, we're not trying to put a crown on any launch monitor, right? Like, who's the best, but we are trying to ultimately show that our capabilities, like we are on par with quote unquote kind of the top launch monitors within the business. And for us, we're coming in at it's not necessarily about the price, but it's more about telling that technology story. But like for us, we're doing whatever we can to help people get their hands on this product, right? And so to your point of, there's been some chatter out there about inconsistencies within the product, and the ultimate goal with this event, it's 3 days. We're obviously having the kickoff here at the office tonight to show everybody what the brand is like, and I think it's kind of opening people's eyes to like what we're all about. But tomorrow we'll get into the testing, and like I said, it's really to show the accuracy and the consistency of our product for the price that it is. You know, that's the ultimate goal. We're not trying to discredit or again, we're not trying to like talk crap on anyone, but we're showing where we rank against, again, the quote unquote top launch monitors. And then Thursday we're gonna have a little bit of fun on the golf course. So I think that really encompasses what Full Swing's all about. You know, you guys kind of got a glimpse as to where we're going, you know, again, outside of the launch monitor business. So there's a lot of exciting things, and I think people are already pretty stoked on it.
I think like tomorrow's going to be interesting. I don't really know what you've got planned. I know outline, you've talked a bit on them, but I think to even put a day on like that and open yourself up and invite the golfing world to come and kind of watch what your product does already speaks of how confident you are on your product.
Yeah.
And
the man's walking around with a mohawk.
Oh, exactly.
He's got some confidence on him.
Absolutely, yeah. And
self-cut, by the way.
You know, and I think for anybody who doesn't know, you've got, I guess, two main products. You've got your simulator product, which is what we're sat in front of here.
Yep.
And then you've got the kit, which is the one that I use.
Yep.
And for me, it's been a game changer because, I mean, I can hit the power button. I mean, in 30 seconds, I'm getting data on ball flight, on club, interaction with the ball. It's never missed a shot. So I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow. But I just think it's kudos to you guys as a company to be able to open up this whole, expose yourself to the golfing world, really. And it shows how confident you are in your products. And I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. Yeah,
I mean, that's just it. You know, as I think for us, you know, I kind of, when I was talking to people about what we're doing, and so it's like, you know, obviously I would use the analogy of, if you're familiar with Strava, you know, that, so I'd be going for runs, right? And it's like, okay, I'm logging 5 miles, but on my Apple Watch, it would say, I was like, oh, it's like 4.6. And I'm like, no, like, I know I'm running further than this because of like what my average is and the distance. And so how it kind of like came up was, I was like, man, unless, you know, I ended up pulling out Strava compared to my phone, and Strava says I'm running further, but I'm like, unless you actually measure like the actual distance of your run, that's how you're gonna figure it out. And so what I'm getting at is like, there's been kind of those tests, and you know, Trottie did one as well, but like what we're doing here is we're actually physically measuring the golf ball, you know, so it is like, you know, it's kind of objective, right? Of like who's been spot on. Unless you, what I was getting at with the running analogy is like, unless you physically measure it, then you'll actually know. And so, to your point, it's like we have the confidence in our product to physically measure it to show what the numbers are.
So there's no hiding then, is there? You know, if you can physically measure it and you've got a device which says it went X number of yards.
Exactly.
To my knowledge, Trottie, you can chime in on this, I don't think anyone's done that previously. And I think what's interesting is because as a golf industry, we have brands and products that we're aware of. You hear people say, I'll put it up against such products, I'll put it up against such product. But actually, why are they the measuring stick?
Who's the benchmark?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So I guess what we're going to do tomorrow, which is going to be super interesting, is physically measure it.
Oh, yeah.
And see where we are.
Yep, exactly.
When you think about how far this space has come, I mean, you've obviously gone on a journey with a massive, epic action camera that now effectively is in our cell phones. We've got launch monitor data that's coming to us. We've got a sim behind us. TGL.
Yeah, tip in 10 minutes.
You're timed out.
That's telling us not playing enough golf.
I know. You've got TGL. What do you see the future for where we're at? And maybe you can allude to it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the future for us is bringing golf, virtual golf, to a broader audience. You know what I mean? Because I think there's huge opportunity for people to come in and experience this, and so I think that's what we have the capability, and where we're going is like, look, we know golf, which is awesome because I grew up playing the game, I was competitive, and you know that's what I know. But like, I think the cool thing with Full Swing is we're gonna open up the ability for people to come in and experience it kind of on a fun level, you know, and I almost feel like it's kind of the gateway to golf, because they're gonna have so much fun in here. And it's like, okay, well, let's go play around. And so, going back to the mountain bike kind of correlation, like there was this whole thing against like e-bikes, right? Because it's pedal assist and it makes it easier, but it's like the correlation is e-bikes got people into the mountain bike space because they could come and enjoy it and they didn't have to suffer on the climbs, and it got them into a regular bike. So it's like obviously a different category, but there's some similarities there where it's like this is kind of the gateway to get them into the sport.
I mean, we can't talk about it too much, but if you're looking at anyone there, if you're looking at simulators and what you currently do and you're excited by it, we've seen some stuff tonight which we can't talk about, which is just, it's taking it to the next level, isn't it? It really is. And obviously, I don't know why I've said that, because we can't really explain what we've seen, but it's coming and it's going to be.
We're giving them the teaser.
It's going to change the game, because and it blows my mind coming out to San Diego with the climate that you've got, that indoor golf is even a thing.
Right.
In the UK, we need it because we get 5-6 months of awful weather.
Right.
But this is where it's going. Because I'm coaching people who are converting rooms. You've got, as you've spoken about it, you've got commercial outlets that are putting these things in. You've even got golf clubs in the UK that are looking at their winters and saying we need something for the members who had to do. Right. It's just growing, isn't it? And we worked at the Belfry 20 odd years ago, and we had a simulator which got put into the academy. I mean, this thing was awful. It was so bad. And that wasn't that long ago. 20 years. It's come so far. Yeah. And so, to me, that just speaks on where we're going to be in 5-10 years, and you guys are leading the way in that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, we can't necessarily get into the details just yet, but I think, I kind of use the example of the Formula One car, and I truly believe that we are blazing the trail, and we're moving fast, and we're innovating, across the board, whether that's within the simulator-based business, and there's also some things coming in the launch monitor world that you guys got a sneak peek of tonight. So we're excited about it, and it's going to be good.
Well, I think with 7 minutes until this screen comes inactive, I think it's on you and me, mate, to get a quick 18 in, maybe 36 before this thing wraps up. We might even come back with a second episode of a bonus episode tomorrow. Depends how it goes.
We will.
We could probably say a bit more about how your testing goes. Are you excited about that?
I am. I'm excited to see what is in store tomorrow.
So I will say, knowing, because I know I need to warm up, but we do have a warm-up bay before everyone gets onto the real thing, because we don't want any excuses about I'm not warm. So, it's going to be a good time.
Have you ever put the kit against another launch monitor?
I have. But I think, look, I don't play a huge amount of golf anymore, but I still know my numbers. And when I started using the kit, I used it on its own for a good couple of weeks before I put it against something else. And in those 2 weeks, there was never a number that came up that I questioned, because I know what I deliver the club. I know how far my ball goes. I know if I mistrike it a bit, it's going to lose X number of yards. And there was never a number that came up on the screen, and I was thinking, I'm not sure. So I did put it up against another launch monitor, but it wasn't because I questioned what was coming up. It was just out of interest, really.
Yeah.
I've done the test 3 times, because I did it once when I first got a kit against a monitor I'd used for 20 years, and I hardly saw a difference. I did it again at a venue against a quad and a TrackMan, and then I felt for that one that I was trying to record, I was hitting uphill slightly, and I felt that people wouldn't take what I was saying genuinely. So then I moved it to a golf hole flat, and still the controversy in this space, I'm doing it on a flat sea level, no breeze, 7 o'clock in the morning, and still the comments and stuff that it creates is amazing. So for me, tomorrow will be the 4th time I've done this test, and I'm going to capture it again. Yeah. And you get to a point where,
what can you do?
What's your yardstick? Your yardsticks, people ask me about USGA rulers and measuring golf clubs, but if you use a ruler and use the same ruler every time, well, you're going to know what your club length is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's going to be mint. I'm looking forward to it. If you want to know more about these guys, we'll stick everything down in the description. Both Bubsy and I trust them, which means the Dope Stroke trusts them. So it's legit. Give it a go. And it's the future. What these guys do for golf is ridiculous. We've got Evan behind the camera here, who you've had on before on the Dope Stroke, the man who sort of pioneered the TGL through here and is a font of knowledge. We'll get his information. We might even have him on tomorrow. But that wraps up this bonus edition. We've got 5 minutes left, Bubsy. Let's go.
And if anybody's coming to the San Diego area, in the description, we'll put Justin's hairdresser's details.
There you go. Put my email in there. They can come by whenever they want. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, mate. So there you have it. Great interview with the guys from Full Swing. Fantastic venue. Awesome to be involved. If you haven't seen the testing, it's on my channel now. I know Chris is going to cover some of it on his socials. Be sure to get after that. Thanks again to listening to another episode of the Dope Stroke podcast. Some trivia that I just want to wrap up from the interview with myself and McD, or the conversation. Last player to serve as captain in the Ryder Cup. I know that you guys were noodling on it, but it's Arnold Palmer, 1963. No doubt we'll have more coming up about Ryder Cup over the coming weeks. Be sure to get after everything on Dope Stroke. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's everywhere you need to find your podcasts, and we got more heat coming. Till next time, we'll speak to you soon.